Welcome back to Tipping Point. I'm your host, Kara McKinney. Let's break down the anatomy of how fake news is born. Taking this headline from The Hill, for example, it claims prices fell in June for first time since pandemic. And the picture attached to it is of a woman perusing the meat section of a grocery store. But if you read just a few paragraphs down to the article, you'll see it was all a carefully crafted illusion. The article itself admits, quote, "Amazing inflation data for June," former top White House economist Jason Furman posted Thursday morning on social media. Prices in the CPI's core, which removes the particularly volatile categories of energy and food, advanced 0.1% in June after climbing 0.2% in May and 0.3% in April. Averaged over the past 3 months, core CPI, or Consumer Price Index, has advanced just 1.1%, Furman noted. Food prices increased by 2.2% annually in June, while energy prices were up 1.1%. Shelter costs, which make up much of the inflation left in the economy, were still elevated at a 5.2% annual increase, though they advanced by just 0.2% on the month, down from the 0.4% increases seen in the previous 4 months, end quote. They must be really banking on everyone being illiterate these days, or on everyone having such short attention spans they won't read much past the headline and first line or so. Because think about what all of that means. Prices are down when you don't count the cost of food, energy, or housing, the very prices that Americans are most worried about. Those prices aren't coming down. They're just rising more slowly on top of all the other increases we've already suffered from these past few years. It's called cumulative impact. There's a reason why when President Trump said he had the best economy ever, the left didn't say, "Nuh-uh, this economy sucks." They instead argued it was somehow Obama's successes that Trump was riding on the coattails of. But when it comes to Biden trying to claim that his economy is the best ever, they have to keep gaslighting us, the public, and then browbeating us into stomaching their blatant propaganda lies. Because no one is feeling it like they did under Trump when they had more breathing room and spending power. Everyone is struggling right now, and stores are going bankrupt and closing down left and right, which means consumers are in a good place to finally start demanding that the companies that they do give their hard-earned dollars to better start listening to them and not to the woke BlackRock ESG hustlers behind the scenes. There ain't that much money to spare these days, so these companies better start listening up. Our next guest tonight successfully took the Tractor Supply company to task over this very issue, and now his sights are set on another legacy American company, John Deere. Joining us now to discuss is conservative filmmaker Robbie Starbuck, the host of the Robbie Starbuck Show. Robbie, thanks for being back tonight.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Great. So what could be more American than John Deere? So what's going on with them?
I mean, we're in the middle of the American consumer revolution because with information at our fingertips, the ability to research really deeply on all available public documents, it's never been easier for people to get to the truth of what brands believe and how they're instituting policies. So this all sort of happened by accident for me because a Tractor Supply employee initially reached out to me concerned about woke policies. I pulled that thread, we investigated, and we found this went so much deeper than the thing they had come to us about. And so I said, you know what? The consumer needs to know. We need to inform the consumer. And at that point, then it spiraled out of control. Now we've got hundreds, if not thousands, of whistleblowers from all across corporate America, many different companies, and we're looking into them one by one by one. And now John Deere is in our sights because John Deere's policies are so diametrically opposed to those of the customers who use their products. So now we're in the period of this where we're informing the public on what those policies are.
So I guess tell us, what are those policies? I know part of it is transing the kids and being very supportive of that. What are some of these other policies, though?
Well, yeah, they funded a pride event for kids as young as 3 years old. That was number one. And that was something where I was like, okay, yeah, we're not giving our money to a company that does that. I mean, just think about how crazy that is when you think about the John Deere brand. Could you ever imagine that happening 10, 15 years ago? Absolutely not. People would have thought you needed to be institutionalized if you thought a company like that would support a pride event for kids, let alone a pride event at all. But that's one. Number two is, you know, that in their offices, they have something called a rainbow group. The rainbow group is their LGBTQ plus group that is constantly advocating for more LGBTQ plus stuff, okay? And they've got speakers that are as woke as you can imagine. They've got trainings that are woker than you can imagine, and we're going to be talking a lot about those in the coming days.